and then had evening.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go.
Yeah.
Then had
Well, the
okay.
house,
Everything else is-
the house moved up the hill of it is a rich.
All right, if everyone
Pumping a lot
is
of money
ready, we can
into
start our
renovating it.
work session.
Wow, yeah.
Webster used.
Yeah.
All right, work session is underway. Whoa, hey, hot mic. So we're just gonna discuss amongst ourselves. The first one in the work session is 720 Dale Avenue, and I believe that one is just because we didn't get to talk to anyone last time. And does anyone want to revisit this and discuss it again, or we already talked about it?
There were some apparent discrepancies, I think, that people had questions about. I kind of went through the whole order really carefully and actually drew it on the elevations, just to, clarify what was
Helps.
going on. And so from what I figured out, it's okay with me, but I know there were some other questions and concerns because there are some discrepancies,
Mhm.
like between the pictures and the footprint and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't, David, were you here last?
I was not here last week or last session.
Yeah.
I didn't have any real issue. I don't care for the picture when it was on the, getting rid of the divided light and putting
The
in a picture.
106, wasn't
Was
it?
that the front window?
There's
The front window was.
there's a front window that's,
Yeah.
there were 3 double hungs. Those are being consolidated into one.
Yeah.
And that one has grills on it in the front.
Yeah.
Then there's one on the side that has no grill and one on the back that has no grill. And one of my question is, if those are all in one room, they might want to consider
Mm.
how that's going to look from the interior.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember talking about 110 and
Yeah.
106. Just the proportions.
Mhm.
All right. So there'll be discussion on that. Hopefully. Next, we have 800 Edgar Road. That's the garage addition and second story.
I thought it was 44 Rosemont.
Those are pre-approved.
Oh, got it.
The next 3 are pre-approved. 44 Rosemont's pre-approved. 536 Lake pre-approved. 115 Portland pre-approved. All right. So 800 Edgar Road. Comments from the board?
I felt like the submittal is kind of a schematic idea that is still in the works, and there's a lot of unknown still. For example, the curtain walls that are drawn, they're just drawn with lines, and I don't know if is it butt joint glazing? That's what that's representing, or will they have a mullion thickness? The garage doors look like it might be just a placeholder. I'm not sure if that style garage door goes with the rest of the more contemporary feel of the home. There's a discrepancy with, it looks like there's an opening in the roof, but then that's not shown in the roof plan. And then there's door in the curtain wall shown that's not shown in elevation. So I just feel like it's not quite complete yet for our review. Materials aren't called out.
I had a couple of questions. The garage window is shown in a different location on the floor plan than it is on the elevation. And I was wondering which one is correct. And then there's stucco window trim detail that's shown on 4, and I didn't know if that's only where shown on the elevations or if that's on all of the windows. And then also, I know this is a difficult lot. It's kind of shaped like a peninsula. But when you're coming out of the adjacent neighborhood, you drive right past it. And as you're coming down the street, you look directly at the back of the house. It's very visible. And there's almost no fenestration or interest on the back side of the house. It's pretty much
East.
just stucco. Yes, it faces east, and it is highly visible. So I think there might be some work that could be done to kind of relieve the blankness of that elevation.
All right, yeah, I had similar comments about details and materials. Actually, when I first started looking at it, I was looking at the smaller print and I couldn't really read it. And so because it was so faint, I couldn't see a lot of the line work, so. And I know they have the larger ones at the back and that makes a little more sense, so. I think Carol's point on that east. And then really just materials, right? I had the same question. What are some of these materials? Since it's not labeled that I could. I'm not sure on that east elevation. It looks like one of the garages has a window, but it's not aligned with the location of the plan. That was one of them. I think someone already made the comment on. Even if, considering something in the gable, the kind of like that's on the west side is something to just kind of, it wouldn't even have to be a window. It could be just some architectural element, potentially. A window would be cool too. That would help that a bit. And then, the materials, in addition to, it's a metal roof, I guess it's metal fascia. I'm not sure what the posts are. That was some of the clarifications and the details on the curtain walls too. Seems, I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Seems like it's, other than that, I like a lot of the form and kind of what it's doing on the site personally. Mr. Yates.
I've got nothing in addition to what's being said right now.
All right. Then it's not on our list, but we do have a preliminary.
It's an information only. It's not even a preliminary.
Oh, yeah, so we're not even gonna talk about it. Or we could.
We could while we're here.
Yeah,
I
let's
guess.
talk about it while we're.
I don't know.
Let's make use of our time. I think that's a great idea. So this would be 123 Dornell Drive. All right, so anyone want to make some comments on this one? Any thoughts?
Very good.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest that they include a roof plan with their submittal. And then maybe, if there's an opportunity to add a window to bedroom 4. That one's kind of tucked in the corner. Maybe on the opposite wall. I know the roof line comes in there, so I don't know if that's possible, but just a suggestion.
Which one is 4? Mm.
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful house. Overall, it's quite nice. I think maybe on the rear elevation, another window in the garage might break up that long expanse of siding. And this is just a minor item that on the front elevation, over the garage, we have these 2 gables. And that to me just is almost not in keeping with the elegance of the house. You know, that double gable is something that reminiscent of what we see on the houses that are sort of trendy, fashionable these days. And this one is just so beautiful. I'm wondering if they might consider just changing that taller gable to a hip. And then having the smaller gable remain. I think that would flow nicely. It would balance nicely. Just something to think about.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion.
Third turret.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sons asked me to show them the more interesting homes that come across my desk, and I showed this one.
Yeah.
It's nice. I like it.
You know, Tracy, to your comment, I was wondering that on that 4th bedroom too, and I know that the roof is kind of a challenge, but there is a, I think an opportunity to put a smaller square window. They have a nice small square window in the front or something.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. I couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Possibly. I mean, you could even do that in the garage too, just as a way to break that up. But otherwise, I thought it was, architecturally, I think, well done. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah,
Nice job.
the interior spaces are awesome too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how about that?
The dining room.
The octagon. All right. With that, no other comments on the preliminary. We will pause and we will return again at 5:30 promptly for the official meeting. All right. Welcome everyone to the Architectural Review Board meeting. We've finished our work session. And after our small little pause, the regular meeting will now begin. Introduce Yolanda Wilkins and Andrew Klosterman with the city. We have Sarah Richardson on our Zoom, who is our council liaison. In addition, Carol Dunkey, Tracy Collins on my right, and Ken Burns, David Yates on my left, and I'm Bob Buckman. We're volunteer architects on the review board. First item of business is approval of meeting minutes from September 7th, which I believe there are 4 of us here that were in attendance. With that, could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the September 7th meeting minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting minutes have been approved. We have a few pre-approvals, which I'm going to move to next. The first one is 44 Rosemont Avenue. I have a motion.
Make a motion to approve 44 Rosemont as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 44 Rosemont approved. Next, we have 536 Lake Avenue. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 536 Lake Avenue as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 536 Lake is approved. And finally, on the pre-approvals is 115 Portland Terrace. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve 115 Portland Terrace with the understanding that the foundation finish will match the existing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Portland Terrace is approved. Next, we have a couple of projects to discuss. When we read your project address, if you're here in person, please come up front to the microphone and introduce yourself, and we'll discuss your project. And if you're on Zoom, just raise your hand and Yolanda will add you to our chat. First one is 720 Dale Avenue. Anyone here for that? Great, thanks. Good evening.
Hello. Dan Rosenblum. I'm with Renewal by Anderson, with the contractor.
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you.
I think there were some questions about a few of the windows, and maybe some comments. So I'll let Tracy maybe.
Yeah, I was just looking at, it looks like 110, which is of 3 double hung windows on the front of the home.
Yes.
If I understand it right, I think that's going to be converted to 1 single picture window.
Yes, ma'am.
And I felt like that lost some character on the front. Because I mean, these windows that they have there now, they've got some nice trim in between, and so I was just curious maybe what the thinking was on why they wanted to go with 1 window. And
Well, they don't open their windows very often. They keep them closed most of the time, and they like to get more light in that room. So by taking out those 2 mullions in there, it's going to open up the room, but we kept with the grills, still be grills in that window. So from that side of the house, you'll still have a grill pattern in there. That's what they were looking for in that
Yeah.
room, is to lighten it up a little bit, make it look a little bit larger.
okay.
That was their thinking. And I was here for the early part of the meeting when you mentioned the 1 window without the grills in it on the other wall on there, I believe. And the idea was they want to be a better view, but that's not facing the front of the house. So they're hoping not to have to put grills in that window.
So are windows 106, 108, and 110 all in the same room?
Yeah, all those windows are in one room. It's like a, looks like it's, I don't call it a room addition, but it's like it's sort of separate from the house. It's like a big, it used to come 4 season rooms, but it's a stick built. It's not a, it's a nice room, nice size room. It's one huge room in there.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they considered how it would look on the inside to have 2 picture windows and without grills and then 1 with.
They did the grills because because I was with the customer on the
Mhm.
discussion, and we're doing the grills so aesthetically from the front of the house, it keeps with the grill pattern. The back of the house, they like the view not looking out the windows.
Mhm.
So it's a more open look. So when you're sitting in that room, it's a nice view. They got trees out there and it's a very nice view from the outside. So that was the discussion.
Yeah, I understand. I just, like if we were sitting in this room and you're sitting here looking at all of the windows, they're all consistent. I
Sure.
mean, some people that wouldn't bother, other people it would bother.
Right.
So, and sometimes people don't think of that. That's why I was asking.
Then we had the discussion. I go into homes all the time and people a lot of times will have the front of the house will keep the grills from the street and the back of the house where it seems like the longer I do this, the more we take the grills out of the back of the house, even though it's the same room. So they have a nicer view.
Okay,
So that's the discussion we had with them.
okay.
David, any comments?
Not that Carol didn't already, talk about, and Tracy as well. I agree with, matching grills on all the sides, and I'm not so keen on the large picture window on the front.
One of the things that I think that the picture window does is that, the house has a little bit of patina to it, you would say, right? It's got a little
what?
age.
What do you call it?
Patina.
Okay.
The house has got some age to it,
Right.
but the proportions of those windows kind of give the house the character of the old style. Putting this large picture window in with these really small grills, I think it loses that character. I wonder if it's possible, even to introduce, is there a wider grill that in the same proportions? So, if you look at all three of those windows together and they have the thicker mullions, it kind of divides it up into the three double hungs now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible to take that same picture window and just put a couple wider vertical mullions to kind of give it that proportion? Because I think that, for me, that's what's being lost in this. It's like looking at the house as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, I think you could even, this is my personal opinion, you could even lose the grills. I think that proportion is kind of, if you look at that next to the existing house, that it looks like it belongs there. There is something about proportions, I think, that gives a house a character,
Mm-hmm.
and windows are a big part of it.
Right.
So I think that's my question is is it possible or could you consider that picture window? I'm talking specifically about 110.
Sure. Sure can see it.
Something that could be added.
Because we have the faux rails. If you're familiar with the faux rails, we typically do to make a casement window look like a double hung window when it comes to egress issues, right? I'm not sure if they can go vertically. I know we can do them horizontally on casements and pictures, but the other side is the size of that. So that's a question I don't know. But the reason we kept the grills in that 110 is because the windows to the left of that, if you look in the window above the garage door, there are grills in the window to the left of that we're replacing also. So we want to keep the grill pattern on the front. So that was the philosophy that we talked about with that. To do it like that. But they like the idea of the picture window in the front because they seldom have ever opened, I don't know if it was allergies or something along those lines. And it just seals the window up a little bit tighter for them. Because the picture window is the most energy efficient product you can put in a home today. And it just keeps the dirt and the dust out a lot better. And that was where we're coming from, and the view on the front on that side too. So
Right. But in the factory, you can gang three
Pictures or
picture, like you could factory gang three windows together and basically have the same effect. Thermally, I know I understand what
Right.
you're saying, but that would thermally perform and just as well, if not better, than a big picture window, because those mullions are insulated and the glass is less insulation. So, I'm not sure that the picture windows, the most thermally efficient way to do that opening, I guess I would say, but for me, those proportions are kind of important, and that's why I wondered, if that's even a possibility for me. When I saw it the first time, I think that was my comment. And then back to this comment about grills or not grills, to me, that those window proportions are more important than the grills.
I agree. I like your suggestion, Bob. I
Well,
think
cause,
that-
right,
yeah.
because then in the room, you're not having what Carol, I think smartly pointed out, is if you looked around this room and you saw grills here and then no grills there, it would be kind of odd.
Uh-huh.
And so I think, it's a three-dimensional space that you're sitting in. Some sort of consideration of vertical, you could do 3 gang picture windows proportioned
Mm-hmm.
with insulated
Yeah.
vertical molds and then have no grids at all.
Yeah, I think that would look great.
So let me show you something real quick. I can pull something up real quick if you got a minute.
I mean,
I'm thinking as you're
maybe-
talking.
Maybe even just the thing is that the fixed windows frames gang together would be enough of a 4 inches. I mean, right here it's probably 8 inches with the added.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can literally that's how the windows come, right? They factory gang them together. So it's,
On casement windows, yes. On picture windows, not so much. Double hungs, not. Double hungs, they don't gang together at the factory. We can put them together as molds
yeah,
at the job site. So we took them up.
Okay.
Can I show you something real quick? I just
Sure.
Put this together. We have the best software, by the way. Can I come up and show this to you?
sure,
So this is
absolutely.
a case- So that's a triple casement person.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So we can pick up the 2 ones that are in there. Do something like that with or without grills.
I mean, honestly, I think something like that, it would look
Yeah.
really nice on that house
Mhm.
Yeah, and
without the grid. even.
yeah, because that way, really, as far as your light, okay, you've got the verticals, which would take away a little bit of the light, but then when you get rid of the grid, it's almost like a trade-off. You
Mhm.
know, any light that was blocked by the grid, you now have coming through. So I think that would look fantastic.
I think that would look great. And then it looks to me like the window is thinking about the original house a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think the experience in the room would be better.
This is the same window.
Mhm.
In the same window. This is
Yeah.
just size, the exact size.
Sure.
Again, without grills.
Yeah.
This way here, if they want to, you could either put it in, but they don't open at all.
Yeah.
Inside of this section.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I
that's.
like the 3 equal.
Yeah, same.
The 3 equal does look better,
Yeah.
but even that suggestion's better than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they were really the same, I agree with Ken. I think the 3 equal.
With, or without the grills is okay.
Yeah, I
With
think so.
Everybody here? Okay. I will bounce that off them.
Okay.
And when do you meet again, or what, how do I get approval? I don't think you'll have a problem with it, knowing them.
I mean, if,
You can go ahead and
We-
approve what we're doing.
Okay.
We can approve it that way, and then if they don't like it or whatever.
We'll be okay. They're pretty flexible, very.
Oh,
nice folks.
okay.
I mean, they're
Okay.
known them for a couple months already. so
All right,
I'll-
super.
I'll bounce it off them, but if you.
Okay,
but
Dan,
they
let's
know.
do that.
I'll bounce it off them this evening, and I think they'll be okay with something like that if we.
All right, I
It's
like
a little bit
that.
more expensive on our side. It's a little bit more expensive window because you got 3 separate instead of the 1 picture window in there. Does that make sense? So.
yeah.
bounce it off
Okay.
'em. All right.
Super.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. And I'll, you'll put in there with or without the grills and let them
Y-
decide. on
Yeah,
that.
we'll go ahead and make a motion now, so,
You might
Right.
want to just stay till we get through the motion, so you've heard it.
right. So with that, could I have a motion on 720 Dale? From, someone, one of my board members.
I'll make a motion to approve 720 Dale as submitted with the following change. Window 110, as was previously proposed as a fixed single picture window, it will be changed to 3 equal fixed windows to maintain the existing proportions on the home. And it's acceptable for the windows within that room to have grills or no grills.
I'm confused now. Are you saying there's 3 separate windows or? it's
3
one window
separate.
with 2 heavy molds? I thought
It'll be
you-
what?
3
It'll be
separate
One
windows.
frame.
One
big
frame,
Frame, but they'll be molded together at the factory.
right.
Is it 3 separate pieces of glass?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It'll be 3 separate pieces. So.
Yeah.
They're not gonna open solid piece of glass, but they'll be
Gotcha.
white and
Right.
decent size, probably this much. Put,
Yeah,
Fiberx mullion separating each one, so it'll be 3 separate.
yep.
Yeah.
And I'll give them a call this evening. on that, Okay?
Yeah, that sounds great. So, with that, yeah, thank you, David. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, opposed. All right, Dan, you're good to go.
Thank you. Then send an email to us, or how do we get the approval order?
Uh,
Right.
So in this case, all directed drawings for
Okay.
conditions that, and that would be it. Changing that one window. So if you just submit that one window,
Okay.
that's the only one that's changed.
Right. Okay. I appreciate it. So we sent you something, so you have our email address that responded to, right? I mean, however we sent it to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in the office, so I won't be sending that right away, so.
Okay. That's fine. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
you.
You as well. All right, next on our list is 800 Edgar Road. Anyone here for 800?
Raise hand.
John's the owner.
Hi there, how's everybody doing?
Hey,
This is
John.
John.
Great. Thank you.
Is my camera on?
We don't usually have the camera on for
Oh,
anyone.
darn. Okay,
You gotta come here in person.
I had some props for you.
You gotta show up here to be
Tell
on the
that to my
camera.
employer.
All right. So we were talking beforehand. I guess I could start with Carol. So she had some comments. So I don't know, John, you probably heard some of our comments, so.
I got in just in the middle of your discussion. I did get an email earlier today and I had some downtime, so I did write responses to everything that I got in the email.
All right,
So,
if you want to run through that, then we'll see if there's any questions left.
yeah, so just, in the order I received these, so one of them says the drawings do not have a lot of information on them, some additional detail. I just, I'm happy to provide anything. I just need to see exactly what, is customary, that you would like to see. I feel like I included the same detail that I originally did on this project, when it was originally approved by the ARB. A lot has changed. Anything you want to know, I'm happy to provide that or put that in the drawings.
Right.
So,
So
if
I think
anybody-
that specific question, I couldn't find a lot of the materials called out. I saw some of them and not all of them.
okay,
And the comment about the detail would be, the wood window stucco detail trim, like there's an elevation, but I can't tell what's going on there because there's no notes on the drawing.
yeah, so that's like, how they do like foam core on like stucco, details? Like stucco architectural details, it would be like, it would be textured slightly, but like what do you need to see
mean-
about that?
Right. I think, right. There's no notes on the drawing. So that's why I think we have to know what we're looking at. And,
Okay,
I
so
think,
do you wanna see dimensions on the, window frame detail?
well, I mean, typically a detail would just show what the material is, there would be a note that calls it out and how much it projects, that's
Okay.
pretty standard stuff, right? No, I understand what you're saying when you describe it, but it's not on the drawing. So that's why we were
I
left to
gotcha.
guess.
Okay. I made a note of that.
So it sounds like, when I'm looking at window trim stucco detail, you've got that rectangle at the top and the bottom. That's really a projection in the stucco.
Yes, exactly.
And, that detail is very common in, in a lot of stucco. It, provides at least at the sill for sure, right? Because it
Mhm.
helps the water drain away and
Right.
so.
Yeah,
but
that's
you're
part
gonna-
of the thinking behind that.
Yeah, whether or not you have to do it at the head or not, I'm like searching my own brain to remember when I've seen it both on the top and the bottom. I don't know.
Yeah, I just
I'll-
thought that looked better, having it on the top and bottom.
Mhm,
Then that was my own personal taste,
mhm. Okay,
but I'll put a detail on there.
okay. And then what's the next one on the list?
It was, what is the exterior wall material? Stucco. Next one is not all windows have the same grid pattern. Is that intentional? Yes, it is intentional. Most of the windows are the 4-light pattern. And most of those windows on the west view those are all double hung. The south elevation has 2 windows that fall under the dormer on that south side, which is kind of a separate element, and that's going to be the least viewed side of the house. And those windows are different shape, different size. So I did plan for those to be different. The north, I'll just talk about all the windows on the house. The north elevation has the garage door transoms. Picture window above the garage. It's got the little window between the garage and the house. And that I believe was the same mutton pattern.
Is
And then
that
we had,
window,
what's that?
sorry, I'm just gonna jump in real quick. Sorry to interrupt, but that window, if you notice, it's got a different sill condition
Oh,
mean, it
okay,
looks-
does it? Let me go to that.
and it's got trim around it. And then on the south elevation, the 2 upper windows, they've got trim around it and a different sill. So they're kind of finished out differently than your bigger
Yeah.
windows with the stucco detail. And I don't know if you just kind of plopped in a window.
Right,
Yeah, and also that rightmost second story window, square window is currently half in, half out the bathroom. So if you nudge it to the right, it would align over the double hung downstairs.
yeah, and that, yeah, that would be the placement of the window, it would be in the bathroom. Of
Well,
that
and-
particular one.
Yeah, and I think to Tracy's point too, John, take those smaller windows,
Hmm.
they're simple. And so if the stucco detailing is going to be these windows are inset, which would be, I think, look good.
Yeah, that would be the plan.
You might want to just do the sill that's projected the detail would then maybe start to tie into the taller windows.
Yeah,
Just a
so
thought.
just the bottoms on those 2 like more square windows, right?
I mean, that's one thought. I personally think that would look good
Yeah, I like that.
and
Let's
be
do that.
functional. Yeah. The smaller
Okay.
window. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll make a note of that. Smaller windows have sill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So are we good on the south side?
Yeah.
Okay, are we good on the west side?
On the south, real quick, could the
Yes.
leftmost double hung in the bedroom move to the right to align underneath the one above it?
I don't think it would be, I'd have to see, it'd be like close to not being in the bedroom, I don't think.
Okay.
I think it would actually be on the dividing wall between the 2 rooms. And this is the spot that's in between, there's kind of a tree canopy right in front of this part of the house. And it's pretty close to the neighboring house, so you're not really gonna see in there. That would be the window that you're least likely to observe walking around the house.
Um,
And then I also wanted to space those windows out evenly on
yeah.
the bottom. And that's how it worked out with the floor plan. And I did think that would look better if it was stacked under it.
Mhm.
Or I could do like a different window. Instead of doing that big, like double hung 4-light on the second floor there, I could do something else there also. I was kind of open on how to, like this second floor, the windows are not set in stone by any means, you know, if we need to change something.
I personally kind of like it that way. It's a little bit, it's like driven by what is, it's like the plan is kind of driving it. And the fact that the windows on the lower level are spaced equally kind of works for me. But if you wanted to rethink the upper one, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to do it how it looks now, but if anybody, I think there are other things that would also look good.
My concern would be that we don't get too much stucco there. I personally like the larger window on the second floor, with
Mhm.
that gable.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
me
Okay.
too.
so, and I'll move these two
Small ones.
square windows will be moved slightly to the right on this view too.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay.
On the north elevation above the garage, there's it says a 6 by
Yep.
5 IRR. What's an IRR?
Irregular shaped. Anytime IRR, that just kind of meant irregular, like that's
Okay.
a pentagon window, that's a big
Okay.
picture window.
Got it.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
so
maybe
kind of the
5
idea
or
for the north side of the house, we've done a lot of work in the neighborhood in the past few years, and it's not done by any means, but, a lot of work on that common ground. And so I kind of, this house has a very special positioning to where it's able to view that common ground very prominently. And I kind of wanted to maximize that because as the house is currently, most of the windows are on the east and the west. And, you don't really get a good view either of those. You get a lot of headlights right in the house from the east side. So I didn't want a lot of windows on that side for that reason, because the way the house sits, the cars are driving right into the house going on Chestnut Hill Lane. And I wanted to maximize the views of the park space.
Mhm.
So, and then, so this little window next to the garage, I can't remember, I don't think it's really noted here how that window, how that stucco detail would be around the window, but,
Yeah.
I would be open to either having it top and bottom to match the ones on the front, or I could just do the bottom sill on that one.
That's one of the things that caught my eye was there seems to be a lack of consistency with the trim around these windows. I
Mhm,
understand you're going for different styles and different feels, but
Right,
I think there needs to be some uniting element so it doesn't look too much like a grab bag hodgepodge, some of this over here, some of that over there kind of
right,
thing. So I
right.
think there needs to be some thought given and clarification to what window trim is
Yep.
on which windows and what does it look like? Is the same header trim across the doors? Because it seems like almost every elevation has a different version. And when you look between drawings, they're not always consistent between drawings with the same window.
Hmm.
So I think there needs to be some thought and consistency and clarification in the submittal with regard to that trim.
Okay, yeah, and I can definitely do that. I just wanna get on the same page as to what that's gonna be with everybody, so. So
Yeah.
this window on the north elevation that we're talking about will have the sill on it and not the top on it.
I mean, I think that's fine.
The picture window and the curtain walls will have no trim because that is a unique element. I guess the picture window could have the
So,
sill. I think it'd
Mm.
look better without because it's kind of gonna twin off of that curtain wall.
yeah.
And I think the curtain wall is more of a wall element than a window.
Mhm.
So I don't really like putting trim around curtain walls. I think it looks stupid.
Right. I mean, I don't know where the sill is on that thing, so maybe
The
there's
sill on the
on
picture
the
window.
curtain wall.
Oh,
on
it
the
would
curtain wall.
be like 6 inches above ground level. Or
So it's
above the
stucco.
floor.
Is it Is it stucco below it?
Yeah, so you're gonna have the foundation and then you're gonna have like 18 inches of stucco. And then you're gonna have the window.
What's the foundation material?
Concrete, poured concrete, that's already done.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm not seeing the line 18 inches. So you're saying the stucco is going to drop down over the concrete?
No, the stucco starts where the concrete ends and goes up 18 inches because I'm gonna have my
Gotcha.
1 foot floor structure and then the 6 inch
Gotcha.
rise. And then, or I mean, it could be right at floor level too. Because how I drew it up here, that curtain wall is 6 inches higher because the curtain wall is flush with ground level on the
Mhm.
left side.
Yeah. I mean,
So I could just,
ultimately, yeah.
I could just do complete floor to ceiling on that. It's not really gonna matter one way or another.
Mhm.
Is that curtain wall system, does it have a grid to it? Or is it butt
Yeah,
joint?
yeah, it does. Well, I guess it technically would be butt joint, but it's gonna have mullions on each, there's gonna be no naked joints if that, I saw the question in the review. Was that your question?
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, it's just shown as line work. There's no
Right.
depth to it or thickness and the doors
Right,
not shown.
right.
So, I mean, do you put
Yes.
a mullion running across the door head, across the whole system, or just feels like it's not
Yeah.
Right.
Do
quite
I
big
have the
enough?
ability to share my screen?
Nope.
Okay,
But I think you get the point. Like once we
right.
see the actual dimensions of the curtain wall, and I'm not sure that
Yeah.
it really just disappears at the roof, right? I mean, there's probably at least a 2-inch section.
Well, that was the design, was that the roof, so the stucco would surround it on the right, bottom and left side, and then the roof element would come over it and it would be, I haven't, finalized how the design would be tying into the roof, but the roof element it would tie into the roof element and then there would be like a 2 foot overhang of the roof element. And then the side you would see here on the roof would be like whatever the fascia is.
Right. I think I was just saying there's no line work showing the mullion. Like there's at least going to be a
Right.
two
Yeah,
inch
there
section
would be a mullion. Yeah,
because
so there'll
so
be 2 or 3 inch mullions on all this.
Mhm. Right. That would be
Okay,
good
so
to
I
have
can
on
draw
the.
that in.
Yeah,
Okay,
that'd be great. Thank you.
And I understand why the bottom sill on the door curtain wall is lower than the one adjacent to it, but they're so close.
Right.
Could you either drop the right bottom mullion to match the mullion for the door curtain
yeah.
wall, or
Yeah, I
raise it
think
up?
I was thinking of electrical when I did that, but I could just I could just make them all floor outlets.
There you go.
And you also, I mean, you want to think about your baseboards too, if you're gonna, I mean, if you did want to have a baseboard run in front of that curtain wall.
Yeah, that was a consideration
The
too,
door,
but
maybe the door is just at the floor and the rest is raised or something.
yeah, yeah, okay.
I think evening up those sills is a good idea, so it looks more intentional and less like a miss.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could do that.
All right.
And
Um,
is the door itself actually 9'5" tall, or would you have a
Yeah, the
transom?
door would either be, I haven't decided if the door would be, yeah, the door would be 9'5" tall. It would either be a glass panel or it would be a solid, slab of wood of probably walnut or oak or something. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a big door.
It's a big door. It's a very big door. Yep.
So what's depicted here is still in question. It's-
Yeah, well, if I would have done this right, I would have put mullions in and I would have put a little door handle, so it would have been a glass door there.
Well, I think we just need to see what you're actually
Gonna do.
proposing.
Yeah.
Because right now we
Okay.
have a lot of questions and there's a lot of conjecture and
Right.
we
Move
we
the
need
lights
to know
up.
what we're approving.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and then I also, on the east elevation, that, the window that's under the gabled element, it's shown in one place in the plan and another place on the elevation, and I was wondering which is correct.
One second, I'm writing down a note. Down, right. Okay, can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, if you look at the east elevation,
Yes, that's the
you're-
crappy elevation.
yeah, that one window that you have that's under your gabled element, it's shown up on to the side on the elevation, but then
Yes.
the plan shows it as centered, which is correct.
I don't know. I knew that would be a point of contention and I seriously, I spent thousands of hours on this and I could not satisfy myself on how to do this east elevation. So I was
I-
hoping to get some feedback from this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, I appreciate you don't want headlights blaring into the back of your house. However,
Mhm.
one of the elements back there are garages, so it's not like anybody's going to be trying to sleep in there. And
that's true.
also too, if it doesn't necessarily have to be windows, maybe you could relieve it with some other architectural element. But I do think that because it is a highly visible side, I mean,
Mhm.
people see it coming and going, and it's very visible. And I just think what we have here is just too plain. It needs to have some more interest, some way to interrupt all that stucco. And please do keep in mind that, if there's headlights coming into the garage at night, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, okay. So what would
Well,
the
yeah.
other architectural elements be that you're suggesting?
Well, when I was looking at your design, I thought, well, why not one of those smaller windows up in the gable end? But then again,
Right.
it wouldn't even have to be a window. It could be an architectural recess or something, something interesting.
A recess, okay.
A purple Martin house,
Purple Martin, give me that, like, what can I Google to look at this?
a bat house. No,
Bat
I'm just
house.
saying something that, helps break it apart, potentially gives it some interest. You have that
Yeah.
window in your, on your west elevation, by the way, I'd move those lights up a little higher, but how you have that nice little, smaller window above the door, you could do something.
Oh,
of that
those are gas lanterns.
Yeah. Oh, they're set at that height.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
that's-
that's cool. So they'll
Yeah.
stay there.
Yes.
Maybe,
But,
oh.
but what I was gonna say, when you were talking about inspiration, I mean, like you start looking at, Macintosh or some of the Craftsman stuff, and when the transformation
Okay.
of stucco to modern Southern California architecture happened, I mean, there's all kinds of cool little things that you can do to add interest. I'm just giving you one example of
Okay.
inspiration.
Yeah, that's what I need on this east elevation. I just need some inspiration. The one thing I did think of was, so this window, the reason it's cut off like that is because the lot, the grade cut at the property line is higher than that window would be, so it slopes downhill towards the house. So that's meant to be the same window as we saw on the south elevation on the second floor. But I did think about moving that to the center and then putting a big, like, maybe like casement or some type of window right above it that would be centered in the second floor. But then I would
think that would
need
help.
more.
If you
Yeah,
would-
it's,
If you
I
would
was,
center that window and then put something above it, because that would cut down on
Right.
that expanse of siding that's so long. Even if you
Yeah.
just center that window and then put something above it, I think that would help a lot.
Yeah,
yeah,
and also, is this stucco like on hardboard, or is this like an EFIS with a styrofoam core backer?
probably on hardboard,
Okay,
and it would be like smooth finish.
okay. One thing that would help break up the appearance of all these elevations would be the required control joints that are needed in stucco, which you
Yeah.
could
Help.
you help with a
Oh,
pattern.
Yeah,
know,
you would like planted that out around the windows or whatever.
Plan it out. Yeah, that's a really
Yep.
good thing.
Yeah.
Even
Yep.
if you do, there's a way to do traditional stucco, but you could substitute the first couple coats with exterior gyp type of system, or
Mhm.
cement board or something. But they do need control joints, and you can start to get architecture, really, I think adding those lines and pre-planning those lines kind of helps.
Mhm. Okay,
Whoever is going to end up doing the stucco may not even know that they need control joints. And then someone's not going to like it when it starts to crack.
right.
And
Oh, yeah.
then you're not going to like it if they decide to put them wherever they want them. So
Yeah. Oh, I'll
Right.
I'll know
Right.
where they're going.
Yeah, because the code will say it's every 20 feet, or I don't know the number off the top of my head, but they'll start on one corner, 20 foot over, middle of window even, they'll put it there, and so you gotta plan out where they're all going.
Okay, so I'm gonna look into like architectural elements that I could incorporate on this gable end, but that would be acceptable as a fallback to have this window
Yep.
that we see move to the middle, and then having like
Yep.
a window sized like one of the larger 6-foot windows on the second floor,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
maybe a different mullion or mutton pattern on it. I don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
I would caution you against getting too many window styles and window patterns, because we got
Ye-
a wide variety already. So
Right.
I think
Well,
maybe choosing from the palette that you already have would be a wise choice.
yeah, so there's really only 3, unless you count this rough opening.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
one thing that would unite them all together, would be to do the top and bottom trim. Even under
Yeah.
your irregular ones in the attic or the bonus room, and like even like on the covered porch where you have just an opening with no window, putting that head detail and sill detail would be
Yeah, I
would
just,
be-
yeah,
would
I would,
be
I'd
unifying.
be okay with adding the sill on the picture window on the north wall, but I think the top of it is sort of and I could even bring that, I think that would look stupid. I think that kind of, I pitched the roofs at the same level from that view, and I kind of wanted it to mimic how the curtain wall feels. But I could put that sill there still. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And then what about this space where the garage kind of butts out 11 foot? Where it's a 312 slope.
Where it gets shallower.
So that, yeah, where it gets shallower, I
I don't
really,
necessarily think you have to do anything with that. If you
okay,
can
yeah,
add, that's my personal opinion, but I don't think that's not a very big plane of. I think if you add the other stuff to the larger mass, then I think then it all works. It's
yeah.
I would
Okay,
be careful. I would be careful about the garage, that low window. That's at grade, the garage.
yep,
Either regrade or put an area away or something, because that's gonna get water in it.
oh, yeah, and there's a lot of space in between where this grade is cut in the house, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Yep.
Give yourself 6-8 inches of buffer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So the grade at the house is actually probably 18 to 20 inches shorter than it shows on this.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then that one on the right is just that's just a rough opening. That views into the porch.
Yeah.
And then should there be, I don't know, that's kind of a slightly different element. Should there be the trim around that one? The sill and the top?
I mean, I would say yes. In my
Okay.
opinion, just because it unifies the detailing of everything.
Yeah, okay.
And at your door hedge, you'd put the same piece.
yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that.
To all windows, okay. Alright, do you want me to continue on the list? I think that covered a lot of the whole list, though.
I don't know what
I think we just.
I think that's it. Once you,
Okay.
if you could pick all that stuff up and, figure out what you want to do with some of these that you're not sure and just resubmit it, then we can vote on it the next time. I think it'll go a lot quicker.
Okay, but no major concerns on anything other than what we talked about.
Oh, John, one question that came up was that your roof plan on your last sheet does not show that roof opening
Oh,
Okay.
onto the terrace
That's the last sheet.
Mm-hmm.
in your set, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a hand drawn.
Okay. Oh, that's the stormwater plan. Is that what that
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can fix that. So the actual roof plan is, yeah, I can fix that though. There's a roof plan on sheet A2. That has it in there, but that's kind of a different drawing, but I can put that in there. Yep.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
'cause the-
All right, thanks, guys,
Yep.
guys and
All right.
ladies. Yep.
Yep. Have a good night.
Right.
See
All
you,
right,
John.
likewise, bye.
All right, so that's tabled. Then we have one more here that is here for information only, so it's not really official. So typically on informational only, we adjourn the meeting and we have a discussion. So meeting's adjourned.